You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
So we've got a little bit of time left in this segment, and I wanted to go back and talk about a story that we talked about weeks ago, maybe a month or 2 months ago. It's been a minute. And
but it's not stopped.
It has not stopped. It's still going on. And it's been going on since before we talked about it. And that is the Tennessee Valley Authority is trying to outsource and has already outsourced some, but they're trying to outsource about 20% of their IT department to a foreign company. Now, we did an interview with the Valley-wide president of the TVA Engineering Association, Gay Henson, and the IFPTE International president, Paul Sheeran, about this. So you can look up that interview on YouTube for more information, and I'd encourage you to do that. That's a very important story. But the local news is finally catching up to us, and
about a month too late.
Yeah, and we were months late to the story. But the reason that the local news has finally decided to cover this is because the Engineering Association held a rally in Big Spring Park protesting the outsourcing. I was there, and to my surprise, so was Jeff Sessions. That was really interesting, seeing him there.
Well, he needs some marker votes.
Yeah.
He is in desperate need of some marker votes.
Right. And he said some interesting things and some things that I disagreed with, of course. But it does beg the question, where is Tommy Tupperville on this? Doug Jones sent a representative to show his support, and he sent out multiple statements in defense of the workers at the TVA. So has Mo Brooks, and Jeff Sessions was at this rally, at this union rally, and he made a statement in support of these workers and against the TVA.
Which goes to speak to the same thing that we're always talking about. Yeah, it's not Democrat or Republican.
Yeah,
we'll support whoever is in support of organized labor.
Right. And where's Tommy Tupperville on this?
Yeah,
he's
a joke. That's where he's at.
Yeah,
he's a joke.
He's a joke. Yeah,
the guy that lives in Florida and then wants to move back to Alabama so he can run and kiss Trump's derriere every day, hoping that he can ride the coattails. And what he wants to accomplish, I don't know. He hadn't come out with anything. The only true stance I seen him take was when they had the gay pride parade. I think it was in Birmingham or Montgomery a few months ago, and he came out against that.
Yeah. Which is silly. And that's one of those cultural kind of wedge issues. Like, does it materially affect your life if there's a gay pride parade in your town? Like, no, it doesn't. Like, that doesn't matter. And and these are issues that are used to divide working people so that we're mad at our brothers and sisters across the street who are gay, or we're mad at the immigrants across the street for taking our jobs or whatever. And we need to come together and realize who the problem is. And it's
Tommy Tupperville for one.
Tommy
Tupperville is going to be the problem.
Yeah. but I want to talk some about what Jeff Sessions said, because he was like part of that. Part of his speech could have been like a Bernie Sanders speech, no joke. And I'll tell you what it was. He said stuff about, and this was amazing to me because you never hear Republicans talk like this. He said, public servants like myself and the workers behind me, these are public servants, yes, but Republicans oftentimes call them government employees.
Well, it depends on the crowd.
Right. Yeah, it depends. He was talking to government employees, but he called them public servants, and he said, "What is the goal of a public servant? The goal of a public servant is to serve the United States. It is to better our community. At the TVA, it is to provide power and to the Tennessee Valley. It's an economic project for the Tennessee Valley." And then he said, a CEO, a corporate executive, what is their goal? Their goal is to increase profits for shareholders, and it is the duty of political leaders like myself, this is Jeff Sessions talking, to stand on the side of workers. And I'm like, my goodness, that is like, what did Bernie Sanders
or Eugene Debs?
Yeah,
well, the thing is, and also, what should be the goal of the CEO of the TVA? To protect America's national interests.
Right.
And who in their right mind wants to turn over a nuclear facility programming to a foreign entity? I mean, that's just it's
insane.
It is insane.
It's insane. And on top of that, the executives at TVA, they haven't even said that they're guaranteeing any cost saving. Like, it's crazy. The thing that they're using to justify it is like, I think that this foreign company has some kind of technology that they're saying that they don't have, and they even explicitly said that it's not the workers' fault. And I'm just like, well, buy the technology that the workers need. Like, it seriously is. I would not doubt that this is just to break the union, just to thumb the nose and in the face of these American workers, take their jobs, give them to a foreign company to try to pay them less money and try to put money in the pockets of some foreign company's CEO. It's insane. I mean, we've got to fight that for sure. This is the Valley Labor Report. We're going to be talking some more about the TVA outsourcing on the other side of this break. If you want to talk to us, the number is 1-866-494-9866. That's 1-866-494-WVNN. This is the Valley Labor Report. We've got one more segment. Stay tuned. Good morning, Tennessee Valley. This is the Valley Labor Report. That little snippet that you just heard is a local band called Them Damn Dogs. You ought to look them up. They're really good. I heard them live at the Lumberyard. They're awesome. They're really cool. Really good music. Really cool folks. Look them up. Them Damn Dogs. So like I said, this is the Valley Labor Report. My name is Jacob Morrison, here with my co-host David Story. And we were talking about the TVA doing some outsourcing. They're trying to outsource 20% of the IT department there. And I kind of ran through some of what Jeff Sessions was talking about, some of it that sounded really good. Now, he did go into some stuff about how, like, Google sent out a statement about how they stand with immigrants, and Jeff Sessions was like, oh, what? So that means you don't stand with Americans? And I'm like, well, no, that's silly. You can stand with immigrants and you can stand with Americans, like, at the same time. Like, these are not mutually exclusive things. I'm also not supporting... Like, I'm also not here standing Google's CEO, like they're doing horrible things to immigrants. They're doing horrible things to immigrants. And that's like, this calls back to what I was saying earlier about the statues and the name changes. These are like superficial BS nonsense statements. Oh, I support workers. Like, oh, Google, you support workers? Well, why don't you allow them to unionize? They've been one of the worst in Silicon Valley about union busting. So they want to put out these things to placate, you know, like white liberals who have like guilt about themselves or whatever, and they don't want to actually do anything to address any problems that they are the architects of. So anyway, there's a lot that I disagreed with Jeff Sessions on about there, and I talked to him. Good on him
for coming out. Good on him for coming out.
No kidding. You know, coming out in support of government employees.
Yep.
That's good. That is good. And I talked to him after that and asked him if he'd want to come on the show, and he sounded interested. We haven't actually confirmed anything yet, but we're hoping to bring him on the show and talk about that, because I think that is really good. I would love for him to kind of expand on that, why he's supporting these workers against the outsourcing, and maybe go into some of our differences about some of the things. But you know, I'd like to just give him a little bit of a platform to talk about this, because it's a good cause, and it's important. Like Gay Henson in our interview, she talked about how if all of these outsourcing stuff goes through, it's like 200 some odd jobs. It's going to take like $80 million out of the local economy, out of the Tennessee Valley, if all of this goes through. Like tens of millions of dollars are going to leave this area, and that's the reason that the Tennessee Valley Authority was started. It was started to electrify the Tennessee Valley, but it was also an economic like something to build the economic prosperity of the valley. It wasn't just to electrify everything. It was supposed to be a good source of economic stability.
And hopefully that's where we're filling the gap on WVNN. I recognize there's a lot of political hacks on here that just want to support one party, and that to the detriment of the media in general. You know, both of us consider ourselves fairly independent. And hopefully that's where we're filling the gap, because we need to be opening discussions with not just Democrats, with Republicans as well, and telling them this is what the workers of our state need.
Right. I mean, 2 weeks ago we were talking about Bill and Joe. That was like our favorite interview that we've ever done, and Joe.
Up until this morning, that was our favorite interview.
Yeah,
now we got a new favorite.
Carla, man, Carla's great.
Awesome.
So like we're not. And I mean, I'm independent in the sense that like I don't like Democrats or Republicans. I'll be honest, I've never voted for a Republican. But if you give me a Republican that's like, talks about workers' rights and he's all for the unions and he's for immigrants and for everybody, and he's not all about these cultural wedge issues and trying to make everybody hate each other so that we're not together on these working class issues, I would vote for whoever. Like, I don't care about those kind of things. But so, if you want to hear Jeff Sessions talk to us, maybe you should call his campaign and say, hey, like, why don't y'all
We'll bring him on. Yeah, there's no partisan politics here.
And hey, I mean, if you've got contacts with the Tupperville campaign, I'd love to talk.
No, I don't know.
I'd love to talk to him.
Seriously?
I might not be as nice, but
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I may have committed David to something he doesn't want to do. But
it's nothing to do with Auburn, man. It's just the fact that Tuberville is such a political hack. I mean,
vanity. He's running a vanity campaign. Like
it's 100. And let's talk about that. It's 100% wedge issues. There is no substance to his campaign whatsoever. If you want to ruin Alabama, put a freshman senator in D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Doug Jones, honestly. I made no bones about that. But Sessions, if we're going to have a Republican senator, Sessions has the experience to keep Alabamians employed. Tuberville is going. I don't even want to. It's going to be terrible. Yeah. It would be absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
No, we're not. No, I ain't gonna make it.
I would let you can just leave the room and I'll grill Tupperville.
It wouldn't even be leave the room. I just wouldn't show up that day because he would make me repulse just to see him. I don't even want to hear anything that he's got to say. Has he mentioned one thing about organized labor?
Oh well, no, of course not. Of course not. No. It's been all his campaign is like immigrants are bad, Trump's good, gays are bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
all 100% wedge issue.
It's silly things.
No substance whatsoever.
No, yeah. Like he doesn't. I mean, it's all silly things.